Time is now 6:33 p.m. Hello and welcome to this Monday, July 28th meeting of the Winton City School Board. This time, if everybody could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Mrs. Seymour, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Knighton,
Present.
Mr. Spielman, Mrs. Bryant,
Present.
Dr. Johnson, Mr. Smith.
Present. Next, we'll move on into 2.01. District Honors Recognition, Gifts, and Introductions. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, President Smith, and good evening, Board. Good evening, everyone. Just excited to see everybody out tonight. A lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces, and some new roles, so we are excited to get to that here shortly. But before we get to that, we're going to make sure we pause and acknowledge one of our students, and we're thrilled that she's here. We were hoping to catch up with her in June, and then we had some schedule difficulties on our end. So we're just excited that she's able to join us here for the month of July. And what I'd like to do is just read a little bit about this award that this student has attained. And it's called the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award. This student is a sophomore at Winton Woods High School. And in order to be nominated for this award, the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award, students must maintain an academic standard of a 3.0 GPA or above in the previous quarter. They must show respect for directors, fellow ensemble members, contest adjudicators, teachers, and other students and family. They must show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to rehearsals, concerts, and personal skill development, demonstrate honesty and integrity, and have high moral character. The Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award is sponsored by the Horace Mann Educators Corporation, a business partner of Winton Woods City Schools, and students who are so honored receive a Chipotle gift card. So again, this student is a sophomore. She excels in art, choir, color guard, and drama. She has a weighted 4.187 GPA. And I'd like to invite her to come up. Her name is sophomore Zaria Clark. Can you join us, Zaria? Now, Zaria, we're going to invite your family member to come up as well, but I'd love to brag about you a little bit and read this. This is some good stuff. Zaria Clark is an amazing fine arts student who does it all. She is a member of Bella Voce and just got accepted into varsity ensemble and a cappella. She is on the costume crew for the musical and has lent her artistic eye to the impact of the costumes that we see on stage. She has been on color guard for 2 years and is easy to spot on the football field, as you can always see her bright, smiling face and her performing with enthusiasm and poise. Last but not least, she is also an art student who's created both drawings and sculptures this year in the art classes. In addition, Zaria is an excellent student and a kind and caring person. Please join me in congratulating Zaria Clark. The next recognition on the list is a Community Spirit Award. These do not occur often, and when they do, it's in recognition of someone in our community that has contributed to Winton Woods City Schools over a very long period of time. And I've spent 26 years in the district, and I can attest that this person has spent many more years than that. But he's been a longstanding, good partner of the district, partnering in many ways. I will also share that he's been part of the landscaping service that has taken care of our school, landscaping beds, trees, shrubs, different features and assets for the district for years and years. And he always did so at an extremely competitive price that we're pretty sure he gave us and maybe didn't give other people. Don't want to say that too loud. But we appreciate him, his many years of service, and that of his family as well. So I would love to, at this time, call forward for the Community Spirit Award, Mr. Greg Schroyer. And Greg, who'd you bring with you this evening? We'd like to invite them. Would you, yeah, Paul, if you'd come up as well. Thanks for being here. That's okay.
Came right from work.
Thanks, Mr. Schroyer, for all you and your family have done for our schools and our kids for these many years. The next part of the agenda is introductions. And what I'd like to do is call up Ms. Courtney Wilson, Executive Director of Human Resources and Legal Affairs, to go over the new additions to our Winton Woods administrative team and family.
Well, good evening. We are so excited to introduce some new faces, some not so new, but are new roles to the board. We have a nice mixture of some seasoned people and some freshly, baked people. And we're going to ask each one to come up so that you can know their new administrative roles. And we're going to start with Maya. You might know her as Maya McCurdy, but it's actually Maya Johnson. And she is our new Assistant Athletic Director. She's an alum of Winton Woods City Schools. And so she's here from Xavier University and a graduate of Rutgers and was a basketball Hall of Famer for us. And Maya, who did you bring tonight? And you want to tell the board what you're most excited about?
So tonight I have my family here with me. This is my baby, Noelle. She's 2. My daughter, Nova, she's 5. And then my son, Noah, he's 7 as well. My husband, Brooke Johnson, he's also a Winton Woods alum as well. And then my parents, Paula and Donald McCurdy, they're here. But the one thing I'm most excited about is just the impact. Regardless of what I do, I want to make sure I put God first, and then I'm doing things to help the community. And taking this job, it broadened, my reach as far as giving back to the community. And so it's a full circle moment for me. I take a lot of pride being a warrior, and I'm just grateful for this opportunity. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Welcome. I just want to add that a few years ago at the Black Family Reunion, I was sitting at a Winton Woods table, and Maya's parents came by the table, and they actually called Maya on the phone, and we had a conversation about her joining Winton Woods one day, and her dad remembered tonight when we saw each other. So this really is a full circle moment.
I love it.
Wonderful.
So do you guys want to come up and take a quick family picture?
Mr. Rye, we'll have a board member join this, Bob. Yeah.
Next on the list is Aaron Chenault. Aaron was actually an intervention specialist for us for a few years ago and a football coach. And you might know his name from UC football, but he's very humble. And he is now going to be the assistant principal at the middle school. And so, Aaron, do you want to share what you're most excited about and tell the board a little bit about yourself and who you brought tonight?
Yes. So I brought my wife, Nicole, my son, Chase, and my daughter, Raina. And I would say the most exciting thing about being back in Winton Woods is just being around the pride. My mom went here. She's actually a Charger. So when I told her the news that I was coming back, she was more ecstatic than I was. But I always felt like Winton Woods was family, even though this is not my alma mater. When I seen Mr. Martin today, he said, "Welcome back." So, I've always felt the love, and I always was very envious of how tight-knit this community is. And like she said, really just making an impact on these kids. I think, when I left, that was one of the biggest mistakes because I felt like this was family. So thank you again for welcoming me back.
I don't want to be instantly negative.
Okay, and I'm going to next introduce Mr. Dewey Copley, and he is one of our teachers that has been promoted from the ranks at the South Campus. Dewey is here tonight, and it's actually his husband's birthday, so I promised to get him out of here early so they could go celebrate. So, Mr. Copley, you want to tell the board a little bit about yourself and what you're excited about?
So the thing I feel like I'm the most excited about is helping just keep fostering the culture that's already being built at Winton Woods. I moved here from Kentucky 4 years ago, so it's nice to have that family, close-knit community while I'm here. And like I said, for my husband, today's his birthday. He's 29, so happy birthday.
Mr. Copley will be working alongside Deneen Fields at the IS and continuing the work that they're doing for 5th and 6th graders in the district. Next, we have Jaquil Hargrove. He brought his own personal fan club with him. Mr. Hargrove is another person who has risen through the ranks. I remember him when he was a student teacher at South Campus, and Mrs. Bray let him do a little bit of leadership when he was early on in his career. And look at you now. Unanimous decision of the interview committee, but he is going to be at the ECCC taking over for Liz Stiles. And so do you want to say a few words and tell them who you brought with you tonight?
Well, hello. I'm very excited. Very excited. My staff can tell because I was making sure everything was getting in order over the summer. But what I'm most excited about this year is allowing the kids to just be the kids. You know what I mean? Allowing them to grow, to allow them to just learn and actually have expectations, serious expectations for them to learn, because at the end of the day, we are educators and we have to make sure that they are getting the education that they need in order to get to the next level. I know what it means to go to first grade. That's the great part about being at the ECC is that I know what it takes to get to first grade, so I'm just gonna make sure I take those leadership skills and apply it. Who I brought with me tonight is my wife, Adrian, and my daughter, Jade.
One of the exciting things about many of the people that we're hiring tonight is their children go to school here too. So I know. Next we have Augustina Sanchez. And she's going to be the assistant principal with Mr. Hargrove. And before the position was even posted at the ECCC, the teaching staff over there, the BLT, they were lobbying for her. I was like, we haven't even posted it yet. So they were really excited that she's joining the ranks. But she was a kindergarten teacher last year. She left us for a little bit, but missed us and came back last year and took on a leadership role in the district as was it wellness?
Yeah.
Yeah, our wellness facilitator. Yes. Yeah. And did a great job, and the team loved her, and they pretty much demanded that she be the assistant principal. But luckily, Mr. Hargrove concurred. So. Are you by yourself?
Yes.
Okay, well, your team also came with you, so you ladies want to come up. And Mr. Hargrove, come on. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be back at Winton Woods. It's special because this is where I started my teaching career. So now the fact that I get to start out my administrative career here just makes it that much more special. I grew up as a EL student, immigrant. Spanish was my home language, so I see myself in our students, and I just want to make them feel seen and loved, even if that's in their native language, and to be that person for them. That's how I want to give back. So excited to be here.
That's right. You did good. Okay, then we have Dr. Adonica Jones-Parks, she's a new to our system. So she hails from CPS, Children's Hospital, and the charter world. But she is our new CTE coordinator, and we are excited to welcome Dr. Jones-Parks to the Winton Woods family. So do you want to tell the board a little bit about yourself?
Good evening, and I am so thrilled to be a part of Winton Woods family. And this is kind of a different full circle moment for me, because in my second year of administration with Cincinnati Public, I was a part of a redesigned career tech high school. And from there, I started building the master schedule. That's how I learned how to do master schedule. And then I became the administrator over the construction technology. And the big moment was when we took our kids down a year after Hurricane Katrina for them to actually experience working in construction and helping to rebuild. So I've always been a fan, and I've always believed that was, this is an opportunity for students, and just kind of got away from it and did some other things. But it's like welcome home to something I really believe in, and want to show that our students can have a wide variety of options for them during high school and after high school, including college. So I am thrilled. And yeah, I am kind of bipartisan, and you could throw in tripartisan if you consider some of the higher ed work I've done. So, but I'm just glad to be back in a traditional school district because I love basketball. I love high school basketball and sports. So I'm just happy to be a part of the team and look forward to collaborating with everyone. And I just love the feel and the culture here. So thank you.
And then last but not least, we have our new community engagement and communications specialist or director, Jeffrey Ryle. And the way that I remember that is like riled up. Let's get riled up. He said that in the interview and it's stuck. So Jeff Ryle, and he's here with experience from a previous district. He comes highly recommended. I called his superintendent for a reference check, and when I tell you that was the most detailed reference check I had ever had, I felt like I was being interviewed, but she said nothing but sang his praises, and we're excited to have him. So, Mr. Ryle, do you want to tell the board what you're excited about?
Sure. Thank you so much for giving me this honor to be able to tell the district story. And in my interview, I remember saying that there is a story here to tell, and I'm excited about being a part of celebrating all the great things that are here in Winton Woods. And it has been nothing short of exceptional in the few weeks that I've been here. Everyone has truly made me feel welcome, and so I can already tell that this is a special place. So thank you for letting me join. I brought my wife Karen and my daughters Nora and Riva. Our youngest, our son, is somewhere with his cousins, I think in Michigan at this point, maybe Canada, knowing him. So he's not with us, but I do have our two daughters. So.
And I encourage the board to check out Mr. Ryle's Facebook page. So as I was cyber stalking him, he had the coolest pictures of his family, and you could just see what an incredible person he seems to be. And hopefully I didn't miss anyone, but that concludes our introductions. As you can see, we have I know diversity is not a popular word these days, but it is, we've got a rich, inclusive team of professionals joining us, and we are so excited. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Board, that concludes the 2.01 agenda item, District Honors, Recognitions, Gifts, and Introductions.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny, and welcome to the family, everyone. This was probably the most excitement I've had at the beginning of a meeting in a while.
Yes.
It is very exciting to see all the new faces, the smiles. Yes, we are one big Warrior family, and so it's welcome to the family. We encourage you to be involved. We want to see you at the basketball games because we got that state championship female team now. Don't play. We going for year 2. That's it. And once again, just be involved. This is your family. It is what you make of it. So we encourage you to stay in contact with us, the board members. We always like to hear from you guys as well. So feel free to reach out to us, talk to us. We like to know what's going on in the school district because we up here, there's 3 of us here, the other 2, we are excited for what's to come in this district. We have excellent leadership that we feel is in place, and we think we have the making of a top-tier district in this country. I don't know how else to say it. I am a product of this district. So those of you who are coming back as alums, I get it. I love it myself. I would not be sitting here if I was not a believer in the product that we put out of this district. So welcome and thank you. My other board members, if you want to say something, go right ahead.
Can you guys hear me? I'm super excited. And again, welcome to the Warrior family. We had the opportunity to meet Maya at a community event, and it was just so nice. And she mentioned the baseball field, so I'm gonna look at Mr. Denny. So we'll talk about that later. So it's just great to see the engagement already in the community. We welcome all of you to come to any of the community events that Forest Park, Green Hills, and Springfield Township participates in. You will see a Warrior. You'll see your students and your family members. And we definitely are glad that you're here, so go Warriors.
I'll just say quickly, yes, you're a product of this district. I sent my babies to this district. My last one just graduated in 25. So I love this district, not enough to have another baby, but I will love on all of your babies from now on, okay? But I will say, in all seriousness, it is amazing to see all of you take the time to come out because that tells me you're excited to work for us. And that is just heartwarming because that means our kids are getting some really great administrators in their schools. And that makes me feel really confident about the things that we do every single day here in Winton Woods School District. And so I thank you for loving the work that you do, and I thank you for loving on our babies and being excited about coming back for this school year. I'm excited, not too excited that summer's coming to a slow end, but I'm excited to see all you guys here and ready for a great school year. So welcome, like Mr. Smith said, welcome to the Warrior family. I'm so excited that you guys decided to be a part of it, and go Warriors, like we always say. So.
That's it. Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Knighton. Next is 3.01, public comments. Mr. Seymour, we don't have any, correct?
No.
Wonderful. Next, we will move into 4.01. At this time, we're going to take a brief recess, no longer than 5 minutes. Thank you. All right. That's been a wonderful 5 minutes. It's like a family reunion when we all get together. We love to chit-chat. I understand it. There's a couple more items on the agenda for today. We are now back in session. We're going to move into 5.01, Winton Woods Teachers Association, WWTA. Do we have a representative here today? Seeing none, we'll move on to 5.02, Ohio Association of Public School Employees, OPSE. Do we have a representative here today? Seeing none, we'll move right into 6.01, the waiving of the reading of the minutes. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I move that we waive the reading of the minutes for the following meetings: the special meeting on June 25th, 2025, and the regular meeting on July 14th, 2025.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Seymour, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Knighton,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye. That passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Moving on to 6.02, the approval of the minutes as presented. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
That's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's call the vote.
Mrs. Knighton,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye. That vote passes unanimous. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is the Treasurer's Report. 7.01, the financial statements for June 2025. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, Board, for the year end, for the month ending June and the year ending of June 30th for our 24-25 fiscal year, you have before you the bank reconciliation for June of 25. Also represented is the general fund revenues for a year-to-date of $62.9 million. We also show expenditures for year-to-date of $61.8 million. We ended our year at approximately 3.4% or approximately $2.6 million savings under budget. Our revenues, with our total revenues in general fund of $62.9 million and our expenditures of $61.8 million. For this past year, our revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $1.1 million, increasing our cash balance, our beginning cash balance from 18.9, and we ended our general fund at 19.8 million. Also, on page 5, you have the activity for all funds, and the district had total unencumbered fund balance on June 30th of $31 million.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Now let the financial statements be presented for filed and audit. Next on the agenda is Records Commission meeting. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, we're just making an announcement that the District Records Commission meeting will meet on August 11th at 6:15, right here at the Early Childhood Center in the Administrative Conference Room. The Records Commission members are the Board President, Mr. Smith, Superintendent Denny, and myself. And that will be at 6:15 on August 11th.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Let the calendar reflect that date. Moving on to Treasurer's recommendation, 8.01 investment reports for June 2025. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, for the month of June, we had approximately $32.4 million invested with interest income of $136,982. Our general fund earned $122,700, and our building funds are still earning interest for $14,200. Our interest on investments for all of our fiscal year 25 totaled $1.76 million for the year.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Board, a motion is in order.
I move that we approve the investment report as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Mrs. Knighton,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye, that passes unanimously. Board, thank you very much. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, 8.02. Student fee schedule for the school year 2025-2026. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, Board, before you, you have the proposed fees schedule for the upcoming school year. And as requested by you, we have made no changes and no increases in the fees. We also have on there, as adjusted last year by the board, maximum per student and a maximum per family for both the high school and the middle school. And those have been left on the fee schedule.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the student fees for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
I second.
That's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for keeping that the same. It's nice to know that with all the changes we got going on, that student fees is not going to be one of those changes for this year. So,
That was also Mr. Denny's wishes.
yeah. Yes.
I believe there was, maybe $1 increase on the AP testing or something
Yeah,
like
but
that?
we
Yeah.
didn't
control
increase
that.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we want as many of our students to be able to take advantage of the AP testing and the AP opportunities. So thank you, both Mr. Denny and Mr. Seymour for agreeing to make that happen and making sure we have the funding for that.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we point out too that still pay-to-play fees and things like that, I mean, we keep them relatively low for our families to be able to participate in extracurriculars. And so I want to definitely take the time to encourage our families to let your kids experience things and let them join opportunities that, we keep these fees low so that you can participate, and we put caps on them for families so that you can participate and be able to do that. You know, there are other school districts that charge much, much higher fees than we do. And so we want you to really take advantage of that and be able to allow your kids to have these opportunities to play sports, experience the music, experience the arts, be able to do things like that. So please, please, please make sure you look into all the different clubs and things that the schools have available, and really talk to your kids about what they may be interested in trying, or, things like that as the school year approaches, so.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vice President Knighton. Any more discussion? Mr. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Moving on to 8.03, voucher joinder resolution. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, Board, before you, you have a resolution giving me and Mr. Denny authority to join the members of the Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy of School Funding Coalition. The annual dues for this are $2 per pupil. The district has been members of this coalition since its inception. We have always been part of the in joining the districts around the state of Ohio who are defending the constitutionality of vouchers.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour, for that. Board, a motion is in order.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adopt the voucher joinder resolution as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Where to start with this one, right? This is such a, if you haven't been paying attention, there's so much happening nationally and as well as in the state of Ohio. And it's really important that we speak up and defend right for public education. We believe in public education or we wouldn't be here. We want to make sure that our district is doing everything we can to advocate for funds to stay in the community, that are collected in the community to serve the students in which we live, work, and play. So thank you for continuing to make sure that we're part of this very important movement.
Thank you, Mrs. Bryant. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's call the vote.
Ms. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is reports from the superintendent. 9.01 school reports. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, and good evening again, Board. Board, you should have before you a report of some upcoming school events. These are highlights. There's certainly more than this happening, but we wanted to make sure we hit the high points over the next month. Beginning with Saturday the 16th, we've got some soccer starting to happen right there at Charlie Frederick Stadium at the North Campus. First day of school we're excited about for high school and middle school. We are looking at a phased arrival for this year for many of our campuses, and we'll touch on that in just a moment. But it is first day of school for middle school, high school, Monday, August 18th, so we're excited about that. Early childhood campus, South Campus, and that's all three schools under the roof of South Campus. So the primary school, elementary school, and intermediate school will actually phase in that day. Similar to how early childhood has done in prior years. So students with last names A through G will attend that day for those campuses. And we expect it to be a good experience for the families that are dropping students off and in many cases are experiencing a new transition for the first time. So we're excited about this. We think it'll really go a long way, especially at South Campus, for easing that transition, in particular for families and students moving from kindergarten to first grade, because that is a big step up. And South Campus does a nice job with that, but this will really help reduce traffic. The following day, Tuesday the 19th, will be a second full day of school for high school, middle school, but it'll be phase-in for students with last names H through P, and then Wednesday, students with last names Q through Z to round things out. The first full day of school for everyone in the district will be Thursday the 21st, first day for all students. So we're really looking forward to that. We've been planning for that for a while and have discussed it. And we're anxious to see what impact that has in a positive way on our operations on the first day of school as we excitedly welcome everybody back. Saturday the 23rd is I've skipped one, apologies. Friday the 22nd is the high school open house and welcome back rally. Always a good time. We invite everybody to come out for that. It's extremely well attended and just kind of a buzz in the air that evening. So North Campus High School will be there. It is high school Winton Woods Warriors football against Springfield that evening. So game time 7 o'clock, and then the open house starts at 5:30. The 23rd, we have freshman football and junior varsity JV, as is customarily the case. When we play a home game, those are away. And then finally, the 25th, girls volleyball, and that is actually the same day as our next Board of Education meeting. So that rounds out the highlights of upcoming school events, and we're excited about our youngsters coming back and getting back in the swing of things.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. We look forward to seeing all your bright and shining faces at all these events in the future. Moving on to 9.02, Student Achievement Report. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, President Smith. Board, we have with us this evening a special guest. So I'll ask Mr. Michael Eckert from the Hamilton County Educational Service Center to come forward. While he's doing that and connecting, I'll just share that the Student Achievement Report this evening, we report on this monthly and share with the board and the community as well. This one is about data dashboards, which is a way to monitor student progress, both in the aggregate, so in the whole, but also to disaggregate, go down to groups of students, looking for patterns, and even down to the individual student level, when and where that's needed and appropriate. So tracking things like attendance, and Mr. Eckert will go into this in much more detail, but attendance, grades, standardized test scores, MTSS, progress monitoring, all of that type of data will be something that we'll be able to look at in a much more comprehensive way. So Mr. Eckert, thanks for being here this evening, and if you would, go ahead and take it away, sir.
Superintendent Denny, appreciate the introduction and the time, and board appreciate the opportunity to have a conversation. Now I'm aware a couple months ago you had an opportunity to kind of go through some of the information, so be happy to entertain any questions that you have, and give you a high-level overview. So a couple of years ago, we looked at all of the data that educational professionals engage with, and they're coming in from all over the place. And the people that are standing in front of the kids have to go to 8, 9, 10 different places and look at data and then try to make a decision in the moment on what's best for kids, what's best for teaching and learning, what's best for Winton Woods, what's best for our pathway forward. And this data doesn't talk to one another. And how is that best practice? Because I went to the doctor literally last Thursday, and I had my results on my phone before my doctor did. Our teachers don't have access to the data that they need to make a decision standing in front of kids. That's not right. So we said, how can we do this in a way that meets districts where they are, that's affordable, but is as high level as can be? So we did some research, and we found a wonderful partner in Zeta. They're a company out of Florida, and in that partnership, we're able to bring in data sources that schools leverage and that are not necessarily unique to Winton Woods, that are unique to every district. So we reached out to partner districts that, as Hamilton County ESC, we pride ourselves in serving greater Cincinnati area. Now, we have a history of serving some school districts more than others, and we have a wonderful relationship with Winton Woods, so we reached out to Winton Woods to say, we've been really working on this and we're very proud. How can we help you? Because we're in the name of helping students. So we had a wonderful conversation with Steve and his team, and we can bring data in interoperable. We can bring in data sources, converge them together, and you can sit down in one place and see how our kids are doing from the standpoint of making decisions to help increase outcomes, whatever those outcomes are. Sometimes it's social emotional, sometimes it's academic, sometimes it's behavioral, and sometimes it's all of it. So do we have access to that right now? I'm happy if an educator can say, no more, I'll get back to you. There is no more get back to you. It's go to this dashboard and let's have a conversation. Let's not table this conversation till next meeting. Let's talk about the data right now because we'll put it in front of you. And that's our goal. So right now we have 8 dashboards and a suite of MTSS dashboards. So at any given point in time, you can see who's in your district from an enrollment standpoint. Are they showing up on time, tardy, why, everything in real time, which is wonderful. We can look at historical Ohio State tests going back to when our students first started taking them and how did they do? Not just how did they do, but how are they improving? Or are they struggling? Did they have a bad 4th grade year? And it's not about did they have a bad 4th grade year, but let's have a conversation about why. And our data should have that. We should be able to go into meetings and have conversations around why, not what, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We move into teacher rosters and academics and behavior. And then MTSS is what we're wrapping up right now, which is multi-tiered systems of support that we collaborate with districts like Winton Woods around setting what we call early warning indicators. So how are our students doing when they're walking in the door? And we say, okay, on track, off track. And what that means is attendance, grades in ELA and in mathematics, and behavior. And we write an equation in combination with the district to find out how we're doing. So high school, elementary looks a little bit different, and we work really hard to bring those pieces together in conversation. There we go. So this should help us lead teacher-based team meetings, building level meetings, and district level meetings. So it's our goal to, we've developed a training team that are gonna sit down with district level leaders, building level leaders, and student facing personnel to say, all right, let's sit down and let's talk about how to use the tool and what that'll look like to help drive conversations. So we're gonna be working with Rhonda to set those up and with Steve to do so, as well as, since we have a wonderful partnership with coaches in every building here in Winton Woods, you know, our coaching staff will help lead that transition to make data a part of teaching and learning. So instead of getting into too much fine detail, I want to entertain any questions you have about what this partnership can look like, anything that you came across in looking at the different reports, in your, you know, deep dive. If you'd like me to share some, I can queue those up. But I'm at your disposal for questions.
I'm sorry. Just a quick question. So in Zeta, is that pulling? Where's that pulling the data from?
Wonderful. So we reach out to, like, HCC is your internet technology company. So we work with them as your data host, and we pull that data into the Zeta system. So it's called SFTP, which is a secure file transfer. So it keeps that data safe, goes straight from HCC and a secure data system to Zeta for reporting purposes. So we contact the vendor specifically or who is hosting that data. So most times it's HCC, which you have a partnership with, and sometimes those vendor partners are not hosted there. So we contact them directly and find secure ways to transfer that data into one warehouse where we can transform that to talk to one another. Does that answer your question okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
And who will have access to this data? Like, will it be all just administrators? Can teachers have access to their individual student grade? Is it like grade level, specific to classroom, or how is it broken down?
That's a wonderful question. So we set up our data dashboards universally, and then we set filtering criteria. At Hamilton County, we believe your data is your data, right? It's not a secret. Now, doesn't necessarily need to be seen by everybody, and we have a collaborative conversation because there is privacy, right? We're talking about minors, we're talking about kids, and we're all professionals. So we set it up so that all the data is transparent, and we work in collaboration with the district on who you want to have access. You know, so we set it up for district level leaders, building level leaders, and what we call student-facing personnel, and that can be a lot of different people, right? So whatever the district feels is in the best interest of decision-making, we will grant access and restrict from there. So sometimes, like one of the big ones is discipline, right? The whole world doesn't need to know why Billy got in trouble today. True, but some people do if we're gonna make decisions. So let's have a collaborative conversation around who needs to see that, and then we can set a limit. And those are just collaborative partnership conversations so that the data is secured and safe, but those that need access to make high-level decisions have access to it in real time and easy for the end user, whoever that may be.
So what will the public have access? I'm just imagining, I know the website and things will be
100%.
redeveloped, so will there be like a button for parents or anyone in the
Right.
community wants to look at whatever data they want
So
for the
at this
district?
point in time, it is a closed system for Winton Woods personnel only as granted by the district.
Okay.
Now, there are opportunities if you would want certain data to be public. We have not broached those conversations with the district. We're kind of in phase one. Now, we have opportunities where districts will say, you know what, we want a running banner on our website, and we want it to show X data. Can you do that? The answer is yes. And it's that collaborative conversation around what's in the best interest of the district and what is a safe transparency of data for the masses. And that is doable at the request of the district, and then we can collaborate on how to make that happen at your request.
Great, thank you.
Wonderful, my pleasure.
So real quickly,
Yes.
the review procedures or review protocol in terms of access to the system, is that done like on a yearly basis, like at the top of the year, hey, we'll go through and we'll say X amount of people need whatever access to whatever, or is that a rolling conversation due to the level of security and personnel changes and things like that? What does that look like?
Right, so I was just talking to Ron about that when I came in the door. So we shared a communication earlier this week, late last week, around setting up those accounts, around who the district wants to have access. So at the beginning of every academic year, we send a request for who do you want to have access, and we have a tiered approach that filters access based upon your role in the district, right? And then as folks, let's say there's around winter break, we lose some faculty members, all right? As those email accounts become inactivated, they lose access to our system. Or at any point in time, district leadership says we do not want this person to have access, done. You know, it's literally a quick click of the button on our side, but the district communicates to us who needs access and at what level, and then we make that happen. And then at our checkpoints, we have what we call district liaison. So we have a district liaison that will work with Winton Woods and be their primary point of contact, and we'll have monthly check-ins. So on a monthly basis, it's part of our protocol to revisit who has access and at what level, so that data security we hold with utmost respect. We're talking about students, we're talking about minors, we're talking about information that isn't necessarily supposed to be public, right? So we hold that very dear and we respect that very much. So we make sure that that data is secured and safe, tied to credentialed access users identified by the district.
And so that, I'm assuming, I guess the authentication for that is their email address, because you said based
100.
off of email addresses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'll just briefly share, the district's been in a partnership with the ESC for the last 2 years on a project called ECOT, which is Every Child on Track. And it's similar in terms of being an early warning system to detect when kids might be struggling and to identify those children with regard to grades, attendance, behavior, test score metrics, things like that. And so we've been doing this for a while. And you could probably speak to this too, Michael, but it's
100%.
sort of been like a kick the tires almost test run with our high school team, and we expanded it into the middle school last year to be able to do some similar work. And now it's, hey, this could be expanded to everywhere in the district and other districts, and that's where things have progressed to this point, if that makes sense. So there were user accounts.
What was the feedback from the high school team when they?
It's been very positive. I mean, we actually have the high school principal here.
I'm about to say, I kind of
come
teed
up
that
with
up
some
because we did
that up
have
any
the high
better,
school
you know?
principal here.
And cut, yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Not
Martin.
not to throw you on the spot or anything.
It's all good. Actually, Steve took my thunder because I was sitting there thinking we've had a data dashboard for the last 3 years, 2.5 years at the high school. And ESC, Hamilton County, they actually, one of their members designed it for us, and he sit on our Each Child on Track committee. So Each Child on Track is from the state of Ohio. We were the second cohort of the pilot. And it's that early warning system like Mr. Denny talked about. But it's been amazing.
Okay.
It's been amazing. It gave us the opportunity to really talk real time about kids. And not one of those situations to where we have to go dig in it and figure it out. It take us 2 weeks trying to figure out what's actually going on. That real time data so us to make great decisions about supporting kids being at our fingertips is unmeasurable. So it's great in our perspective. And it sounds like it's gonna work even better. Some of the kinks that we ran into seems like it's gonna be knocked out a little bit. So I'm super excited what this next rendition looks like.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Martin, for that feedback. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any other things I can address?
Thank you for taking the time. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
anytime. We're very excited to continue the partnership and try to expand and make a greater impact on teaching and learning in Winton Woods. And at any point in time, we're available for conversation or questions, and appreciate the time.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Are any other school districts doing this dashboard?
Yes, ma'am.
Local? I mean, I know there's others, but any around?
Yeah, so this has been 2 years in development. So in our first year, we said we didn't want to get out over our skis too much. So we said we will take on between 5 and 8 districts, regardless of the demand. So this year we're launching with 6 districts only, and we cut it off so that we pride ourselves in customer service. When our partner districts call, we answer the phone, and we pride ourselves on answering the phone. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to provide the level of support that our districts were used to getting from us with regards to technology, though. So this is a new venture. So we wanted to make sure we went slow, get it right before we scale a little bit greater. And Winton Woods is part of the initial cohort with this venture. You know, it started with ECOT as a one-off dashboard, and now it's up to 12 dashboards with more robust data that you'll always have access to, even historical. So we're very excited and appreciative of the opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Michael.
Of
Appreciate
course.
it. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you for that presentation, and thank you for the feedback. It's good to be able to hear that and let the community know what we're doing behind the scenes to try and make things happen. I mean, you know, you heard it from our principal there. You know, it's working wonders. So we're excited to be able to branch that out into more of the districts. So thank you, Mr. Denny, for your leadership, Mr. Martin for your leadership, and all of those involved, Rhonda Hobbs and her technology department. We thank you very much for your continued efforts and the partnership that we have with the Hamilton County Education Service Center. We appreciate that. So let's move on to agenda item 9.03, extracurricular activities report. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. 9.03, Board, you should have before you 2 reports, one for the high school and one for the middle school. And this was requested by the board just to get a better picture into what kinds of opportunities exist for our students at these 2 schools. I will start by saying the middle school has, I believe I counted 14 different clubs and activities. The high school has 29 extracurricular clubs and activities. So I will begin by just going over the middle school. Mr. Dixon was not able to be here this evening. He's actually out of the country. So I'm going to stand in for him. But Mr. Martin was able to join us this evening, which we really appreciate. So he'll be up in just a moment to talk about the high school's extracurricular offerings. But I will start by just reading a brief statement toward the end of the middle school description of these activities. It says, Winton Woods Middle School strongly believes in the uniqueness of all students, and we proudly offer these after-school activities to develop student character and interests. and we encourage participation accordingly. So one of the key things we know about school is students who are connected tend to do better. And it doesn't matter exactly what that connection looks like as long as it's positive and enriching. And so that's what we strive to provide for our kids, is chances and opportunities for them, whether it's sports or fine arts or academics or whatever other after-school activity it might represent. We try to have something that students can connect with and that they form those positive relationships with their peer group as well as other adults at school. So you can see, board, before you, if you take a look at the middle school report, this is based on 24-25 activities, various clubs offered. I don't want to read it to you verbatim, obviously, but just to go over a few, it ranges from things like anime and chess club, across to the Explorers Club, which is a drone and aviation-based experience for kids, to the Kiwanis Club, or Builders Club, which is obviously connected to Kiwanis, all the way to student council and yearbook. So a lot of variety, a lot of different things. In addition to these opportunities that will continue to exist, we also see the advent of the Boys and Girls Club coming, and they will have different avenues, and they'll start small with a cohort of 15 kids with an intent to grow. And what we want to do is create a cohesive experience that kids have different options and different opportunities. So that's the middle school. Thoughts, questions, comments, board, about Winton Woods Middle? Okay. Mr. Martin, if you could join us and share a little bit about the high school's offerings.
Great evening, everyone. First thing I wanted to say, it was very cool coming tonight. I didn't know that I was going to see what I saw. To see Maya being recognized, she's one of ours. You know, she's been at the highest level of women's basketball. You know, she coached at Xavier, she coached at Penn State, she coached at Ohio State. She went to Rutgers. When you know anything about women's basketball, oh my God. You know, so she's been an unbelievable addition to the team. But then also to see Aaron Chenault, good Lord. I hated when he left to go and pursue some dreams that didn't quite work out, but he found his way back home. And the best thing about him is his wife. His wife's one of my former students, you know, in a different district. Believe it or not, this is year 30 for me. 24 in administration. Wow. Wow. So pretty excited about that. So that was good for me to see when I first came. Now let's talk about why I'm standing in front of you. Extracurricular activities at Winton Woods High School. 13 years ago when I became the principal, one of the things that I wanted to do, and I said 13 years ago, because most principals don't last 13 years. So one of the things that I wanted to do was really increase the opportunities for kids. It's extremely, extremely, extremely important for kids to have a solid foundation for their next chapter. And I believe an involved kid is a kid who's going to do great things in their next chapter. So we had the opportunity on my vision board 13 years ago. That was one of the things we wanted to achieve. I'm happy to stand in front of you right now and say we have 29 extracurricular activities that will be taking part at the high school this school year. Last year was 27. We added 2 new. We added a gaming club because we're going to separate it out from the card game stuff that the kids were doing, and we're going to do a video game. So that's what kids are interested in. Student voice and choice is extremely important to us in terms of how we teach. We want to hear what kids are thinking. So why not create opportunities for kids under that same vein? So super excited. And again, your high school, Winton Woods City School, offers 29 additional opportunities for kids to get involved in something. A lot of other districts around us can't say that. And it's a lot of the hard work of the adults, the long hours of planning and figuring it out and trying to meet kids where they are and what they're excited about. So we're super excited about that. And that's not even to mention athletics. So that's separate from athletics. So if you think about our athletic program that we've been able to grow, we're a very fortunate district to have 11 boys athletic teams, and we have 14 girls athletic opportunities that we offer. Now that's a flip. That is definitely a flip. Typically in most districts, and we used to be the same, boys had more opportunities around athletics. That's not the case here now. We have 14 different opportunities for young ladies. Last year we had the addition of female wrestling and a dance team. Now boys can join the dance team as well, but right now we don't have any boys, so it's just slated on the girls' side, not a co. This year, we're excited. We're going to do girls flag football in the spring officially because the state of Ohio is actually identifying it as a tournament activity. So we're super excited about that. So now we have to figure out how to balance it out. My goal is for us to offer 14 and 14. I'm not sure what that means on the boys' side, but we're going to work hard to figure that whole piece out. But I do want to make sure that everybody understands. I spend my summer reflecting on what we did in the past, while at the same time planning for next year, right? If you came to the high school and you saw that big board in my conference room, there's not a white empty space on it because there's a lot of planning taking place to ensure that we meet the needs of everybody we serve, right? And this is another example in terms of why we are a district of destination. We're a high school destination. Right now, Winton Woods this past year had over 60% of its students participate in an extracurricular activity. That's pretty impressive and pretty powerful. We're putting our money where our mouth is. We're growing our kids the right way. You know, every time I'm out in the community and I see young people that are warriors, just the love that they give me and the way my heart feels about them, I know we did the right thing. We put them first. So super excited for the opportunity to talk to you guys and kind of brag on what it is we do. Yeah. Any questions?
No, thank you for putting this together. We really appreciate this document for both the middle school and the high school. And I'm assuming these will be on the website. I keep referring to that new website. Yeah. I keep speaking it for parents. So again,
no pressure.
I know, no pressure. You know, just asking for a friend.
So actually, what happens? We send out our student handbook 4 times a year to current parents and students. We use our technology that we have. Ms. Hobbs and the Enrollment Center, they also give this information to every new family that comes into our district. We over-communicate. Believe me, I'm gonna tell our story. So we want everybody to know the great things that's happened because you all know as well as I do. You can have 1,200 kids do it the right way. It only takes 2 to make a bad choice. And then everybody will try to paint our picture a certain way. So we're gonna tell our own story. Great things are happening and we do over-communicate.
Wonderful. I see that there's some open spots for some of our new teachers and administrators to take advantage of being involved in the Warrior Way. So,
man, I wanted to be over the video game club. I was mad about that. I saw this and I said, "There's nobody's name under there. Maybe my name." I was just mad.
Well, the kids say they wanted it, so we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna find somebody.
Exactly.
Hey, me and you both might be there in charge of the video club. Who knows? I don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
If they need an advisor, I think you might be able to talk to them.
that part.
Had to come out of retirement, bring out that PS5.
Got it.
No, but I mean, this is wonderful. I mean, this amount of options, this is wonderful. It's wonderful to see this. Thank you and your team for growing to this amount, both with the extracurricular, the athletic, the fine arts, everything that you're offering outside of just the academic space at Winton Woods to keep our students well-rounded and versed in many things.
And I'm remiss, I didn't say our fine arts. Our unbelievable fine arts department that's not even included in this information that's sitting before you. There's a lot of time takes place outside of the school day. We're fortunate to be a district to have instrumental, the orchestra, band, and vocal arts as part of our academic curriculum, but 50% of that work happens outside of that space, right? So there's a lot goes into that. And also with our drama department, we're fortunate to put on a play in the fall and an unbelievable musical in the spring. There's a whole lot of districts don't have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
So we pride ourselves on figuring it out for our babies. So.
And great productions at that.
Oh my God.
Like great productions.
Yes.
If you haven't seen them, that's my plug. Go see one.
Yes.
This upcoming school year, go see one because you'll be mad if you didn't.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll just add briefly, too, that all of these opportunities and both of these reports are open to all students. All of these are open to everyone. So regardless of what, your grade level is or your gender or whatever that might happen to be, this is all inclusive. The other thing I'd say is our district believes very strongly in educating the whole child. And I would cite this as evidence to that fact. So thanks, Mr. Martin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Martin.
you.
Next on the agenda, we have 9.04, Federal Programs Report for fiscal year 2026. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, President Smith. And at this time, I'll ask Mr. Sanker to come up and join us at the podium. Mr. Sanker is our Supervisor of Federal Programs and Testing, federal and state programs and testing. Normally, this report takes place in the month of June. As Ms. Bryant had pointed out earlier, we live in interesting times. Mr. Sanker will be able to touch on some of this and provide the board a little more feedback. We spoke about some of this at our work session. But federal programs does involve Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, various title funds, in addition to IDEA, which we'll cover in more detail next. But at this time, we'd love to have Mr. Sanker provide an update. And Mr. Sanker, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. I appreciate that. Ms. Bryant, you kind of alluded to the crazy times that we're living in. Things are a little bit topsy-turvy in the world of education, both at the state and federal level. And I will preface this that everything you've heard up to this point is like talking about expansion, new people, new programs, new opportunities for our kids. Unfortunately, I'm going to be talking about some restrictions, some constrictions due to the state of federal programs right now. It's my hope that things will look better as we move forward, but this presentation will be a little more gloomy than maybe previous years. So our agenda, we're going to talk a brief overview of title programs. We're going to review each of them specifically and have an opportunity for public comment if that is the case. So per guidance from the Federal Education Department as well as the state, the board is supposed to hear about how we're using our federal funds as well as approving how we use those. The federal funds are allocated to the district through the one application from the state. So the federal government gives the money to the state, and then the state determines how much money goes to districts. Our funds are supposed to align with our one plan, so the goals and the needs that we have articulated are supposed to be funded through all of these monies. A note on this particular presentation, as of actually before Friday afternoon at about 4 p.m., Title II, Title III, and Title IV, those funds were being withheld by the current administration to review how those funds were being utilized. They wanted those funds to make sure they were in accordance with the president's priorities. Around 4 o'clock on Friday, the federal government announced that they will be giving this money back to the states. So that is to be determined how much money we'll receive for those. In the meantime, we'll talk about Title I, as well as IDEA-B and our early childhood education. These are funds that we have received. So currently, our total allocation for all our categorical programs is $2,788,000. Mostly this is Title I money and IDEA money. Typically, we would have some numbers for you at this particular point on how much money is supposed to be directed to non-public school services. Those numbers have not been tabulated yet by the system from the state. Last year, our allocation was roughly $130,000. Those are federal monies that are intended for our district resident students who are attending non-public schools, much like we support our students with federal funds. This is our pie chart of how our funds are distributed categorically. As you can see, Title I has the largest section of that pie chart. IDEA-B in the green or yellow is our next largest portion. In terms of Title I, that money is supposed to go to improving school services for disadvantaged students. So mostly this money pays for instruction and behavioral supports for our students. Many of our teachers specialize their instruction for disadvantaged students. A lot of their full-time equivalent salaries are covered through these funds, especially around reading and math. And as noted, we received roughly $1,300,000 from Title I. We are able to participate in a program called Title I Non-Competitive. These are funds directed to our intermediate school, and these are tied specifically for that building's improvement plan. This year, our allocation is $260,000. This money will be dedicated to a data coach that we are getting from Hamilton County Educational Service Center to help support our teachers as they work with student data, and also a teacher on special assignment. We've elevated one teacher from the group who will help our teachers provide stronger instruction. Title II is supposed to help teachers improve what they do, their instruction, how they approach students in the classroom. So it's around professional development. This year we have currently no dollars in our system to dedicate to these funds. Last year we had a little over $200,000. It is my hope that when the federal government releases this money to the states, that we'll have a similar amount of money. Title III is money directed to English language learners and their instruction. In past years, we've covered full-time teachers for this. Our allocation formerly was $130,000. This year, our current allocation is $0. The federal government apparently has funded this, and once again, when that money is released to the state, we will know how much money is available. Title IV has basically 3 buckets. One is to provide well-rounded education for our students. This is different programs, field trips, STEM programs, opportunities for our kids to do different things in the classrooms. It can also be used for safety and climate programs, as well as technology. In 2025, we received roughly $100,000. This year, we have $0 allocated at this time, but here again, we hope that we will have a similar amount allocated. IDEAB, which I will give another presentation on shortly, we have roughly $1 million that we dedicate that to our students that have individual education plans. Early childhood education is money that is directed to students that are in preschool that are on IEPs. This $16,000 that has been allocated goes to support those students. And then expanding opportunities for every child. It can be used across our district. And here again, this is to supplement or augment what students are exposed to at our school for advanced coursework or career exploration, personalized learning. We have for this year $115,000. You might wonder what the impact of these federal monies are. Through these 3 programs that were not funded, that's roughly $420,000 unfunded. As I did an analysis of the money that we received from 25 to 26, we have received considerably less from each of those different categorical programs. Here's some examples. Title I, we have $90,000 less this year than last year. Title I non-competitive, we have roughly $40,000 less. And also from EOEC, that is roughly $16,000 less from last year. So our cumulative amount less this year is roughly $560,000. Again, once the federal government releases these funds, we would expect that that number would decrease. That's the long and short of it. If you have questions or thoughts, comments, I'm happy to answer them.
Thanks for the doom and gloom. No, I'm just playing. Thank you so much for this presentation and really kind of giving us the real action report of it. I know we hear a bunch of things, you hear it, you see it, you read it, but this is the day-to-day, like how it's impacting our district. And I really want the public to understand that it is a day-to-day impact to your local school districts, and this is exactly how it's gonna hit Winton Woods. Just fingers crossed and prayers up that things change, but thank you so much for taking the time to lay all of that out for us.
So in terms of Title II, Title III, Title IV, where we're not sure of the current allocation for 2026, say we get no funding. We're hoping that's not gonna happen. Do we have a plan in place for what we're gonna do? That's the hard question.
That is the question.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you asking. And I think one of the things we need to do, it's incumbent upon us to be transparent and let people understand. I wrote a series of letters to our representatives, our U.S. senators, Senator Moreno, Senator Husted, and Ohio Representative to Washington, Warren Davidson, letting them understand in real terms, this is 6 teachers. I'll be very specific. It's 2 teachers funded by Title II. They're full-time teachers that teach at Winton Woods Primary School at South Campus. And it's 2 TESOL teachers that are funded out of Title III and 2 aides that are funded, tutors that are funded out of Title III. So that's 6 FTEs. Now, fortunately, our district's not in a position where we would have to immediately cut those positions. Some districts were. I understand some districts have already made hard choices about, we don't have to, we don't have the funding to even front those positions, and they've let people go. I won't name districts, but there are some very, very near here that had to make that decision. We're not yet at that position because what's happened has not had a direct impact yet on the 5-year forecast, but it can. So to date, we've been able to say we're going to continue to employ these people. We're going to front the money from general fund, and hopefully the funding is forthcoming, and we can reduce those expenditures and reallocate it to the federal funds. But these are direct services for students, and it affects 5% of our kids. So it's, what did we figure out, Doug? It's a little less than 1% of our budget, but it impacts 5% of our children. And 40% of our families and students speak a language other than English as their first language in the home. So we want to be sure that certainly the Title III funds aren't just put to the wayside. So this isn't good news, but it's news, and it's where we are. And I think our families and community members and taxpayers need to understand that we didn't choose this. This is a position that we were placed into, but we have to do right by our kids and do the best we can. So I hope I've been responsive to your question.
Yeah, absolutely. That's this is Mrs. Bryant's rant. I'll let her have that one later, but it's very important who you allow make the decisions for your district at the state and federal level. And I'll let Mrs. Bryant hammer on that one a little bit later. But yeah, that's very concerning. But thank you for that information, and we look forward to hoping some money gets released.
Yeah, I just appreciate the transparency. I appreciate the numbers, the figures. It's helpful to kind of have it broken down like that, just so that we can have a good understanding of where we would have to cut and where we would have to take away. So, I mean, any impact in services, whether it be 5% or 0.5%, if it's impacting our families, it's negative, So, we hate to see any impact on any of our families that we serve. So, we just definitely really, really hope that monies can be restored and, things like that. But, I definitely appreciate being a part of a district that is transparent and forthcoming with information. because it does leave those, keeps you from having the questions. So I definitely appreciate this information. So thank you for preparing it.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item agenda, 9.05 IDEA Part B, presentation and public input. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Sanker, thanks for hanging out for one more agenda item. He'll go ahead and share with us the IDEA presentation, which has its own separate set of requirements. That's why we make sure that we meet all of those and in full compliance with the federal requirements and state requirements. So, Mr. Sanker, take it away again.
Thank you, Mr. Denny.
Thank you, sir.
Wanted to let you know that Ms. Bray normally makes this presentation. I'm doing it in her stead today. Our agenda is we're going to discuss a little bit of what IDEA Part B is, talk a little bit about the fiscal budget that we've had in 2025 and previous years, the current fiscal budget, and how that money is spent, and then have an opportunity for public participation or comments. First off, IDEA-B funding is dedicated to students that have special education needs. These monies allow us to meet the FAPE standard, or the free appropriate education, to tailor our instruction to meet the individual needs of those students. This money is administered from the federal government to the state government down to school districts such as ours. And again, these serve students with disabilities. This money can be directed to students any ages from 3 to 21. So you can see there are preschoolers that would have this money, as well as students that are well beyond their high school age. But we still provide services to those students. The funds are utilized by hiring special education teachers and aides, providing specially designed instruction, such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech, for our students who have IEP needs around those topics, purchasing assistive technology or adaptive materials for our students, professional development for our educators so that all of our classrooms are better serving their needs, and also can provide transportation for students that have unique needs due to their IEPs. Talking a little bit about the budget this year, we have roughly, I think it was about $6,000 more this year. It's $1,054,000. $150. Last year, $1,047,000. As you can see, these allocations for the last 15 or some odd years generally are increasing. These numbers are really based on the federal money that goes to the state, based on formulas, based on student count. So the more students that we have and the more money allocated per students, the more money districts receive. In terms of by object code, you can see that salaries is the largest chunk of how we utilize these funds. Between salaries and retirement and fringe benefits, that's nearly 95% of the money. In terms of by function code, here again, instruction is the largest portion of this. Support services would be second. Those would include things like aides and psychologists and some of that work. Retirement and fringe. Some of this money goes to non-public schools as well. That is the end of our IDEA-B presentation, if you have any questions or comments.
Again, thank you for presenting this information.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Doug.
Mr. Sanker.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Moving on to agenda item 9.06, capital improvements report. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, President Smith. 9.06 Capital Improvement Reports Board, you should have before you the report on this past fiscal year's, the school year 24-25, the capital improvements. And Mr. Jeremy Day, Executive Director of Business Affairs, is going to join us at the podium to go over that report. Mr. Day.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, before you've got the spreadsheet that was last year's fiscal or capital improvement reports. We highlighted some areas. Normally, they're kind of higher dollar areas, but then I also wanted to put out there where the money was coming from, depending, and what it was really for. One was for the installation of the stadium fencing, which is a large ticket item there for security, basically for the stadium. We actually did, there's a blue highlight there when we refinished some of the flooring at North Campus. So the vast majority of the flooring in both of our new campuses are concrete. So there actually is a finish on those. So when every 5 or 6 years, typically they say you want to go ahead and strip it down and redo the finish. That's what we're doing right now. We're actually finishing the last 2 parts at North Campus right now. For the next one. So that's what we're finishing that up right now, but we started it off at spring break, so it actually was last fiscal year for that. In the orange we did purchase and we installed the safe defense system at South Campus, where that we also partially funded that with the state attorney general fund, which is typically you get that every year, and it tends to be for us about $17,000, give or take, on the year, and it's based on enrollment. Last year we used that for that particular service. There is a different one coming up this next year that we're going to be using that money for, that we got in already. And then the largest purchase was probably the bus purchase that we had this past year. That was 2 buses. It was $257,000 for 2 buses. They do take quite a while to get here. You have to order them pretty well in advance, but we did get those also. On the bottom of the report, I do have the percentages based on what the total amount was this past year, which was $771,000 for the capital improvements. Some of the items towards the bottom, I kind of wanted to point out, a lot of them aren't necessarily high dollar items, but they're items that we would have to outsource if we didn't have it. We purchased an asphalt crack filler machine to help our parking lots in our stadium as far as filling the asphalt, the cracks that do happen over time. We got a painting machine. If you notice any of the campuses right now, we just got done restriping all the parking lots. We did that ourselves instead of having to sub it out to somebody else. So the hope is, you make a purchase of $4,000 or $2,000 and it saves in the long run as far as having to outsource that out. We did have some fencing projects. We had the stadium project, but we also did have the learning garden at South Campus and also the playground at South Campus as well that we had installed last year. And then some of the other safety features we had, we did actually install security film on the community building doors that we have on the other campuses as well, which was nice. We did install a brand new technology center door. We're actually getting more doors coming up this next capital improvement, which I'm going to talk about here in just a few minutes, as some updates of that's coming up. Some other repairs that we made, I did put it on this report because of the dollar amount that they are, but they're kind of repairs. They're the community building. That building is of the age to where it's a very, very old boiler system. It's hard to keep up and running, so it's expensive when you have to fix it. So we did have a pretty large, sizable amount that we had to do for repair this past year. Any questions?
There was a purchase of where's the garden shed at South Campus?
That is towards the back of the building. Basically, if you see where the playground is on the end of the bus loop, it's on the far side of the playground.
What are we storing in there? What's in there? What are we putting in there?
That's all the garden materials for those projects that go on. So the idea behind the garden is every grade level gets to basically have pieces of that garden. and raised beds. So all the materials, all of the tools get stored in that, stored in that tool shed. Another part, you're not allowed to have gas equipment in property, like in the facilities. So there are like a gas mower back there and things like that, because you're not allowed to have that actually in property or in the facility.
And if I might add, that's the South Campus Garden where those raised beds are located.
Yeah.
And so those are students that are using a lot of those tools. It's not really for the district maintenance team per se.
Yeah.
Although I think there are probably some items in there.
Some items,
A
but
lot
it's
of it's
mainly
for
for
kids.
it's for that project completely. That project was mainly funded by Forest Park Environmental, as well as our Educational Foundation, given a lot of money for that. We expanded it this past year. Last year it was one circle, now it's expanded to a second circle that the fence encompasses. They really have done a really, really nice job. It's nice that it's all grade levels. It's not just the 6th grade or the 5th grade. That's kind of the teacher who ran it, but that wasn't the intent. It was just for 2 grade levels.
And then, so the refinishing, the money that we spent now, that's only for the 40% that's finished, or we're 40% away from being finished, and that's gonna be the total number we spend?
That was 40% of the campus that was done over spring break. Yeah, the other 60% is happening, they're finishing right now.
So
And
is that 71,000 the total that we spent for that entire?
just that
refinishing?
40%.
Just for the 40%?
Just the 40%, yes. There's another piece that was another 74,000. There's another piece that was 48,000.
Okay.
So it ends up being a pretty pricey tag for that. That also did come from our state maintenance fund, which we're required to put money into to kind of help with the maintenance of these new buildings. So we opted to use that fund for this particular project because it's only once every 5 years that you're looking. If it was a once every year type deal, that would probably be a different story. So.
I have a question. So 36 chairs with logo for high school gymnasium. When are the chairs used? I mean, I know there's events that you don't use the bleacher, but they're not talking. You're talking about regular chairs with our logo.
They're the athletic chairs for the teams.
Okay.
The old ones, they were getting pretty aged out as far as the wear and tear of them. We actually had a sticker, a Winton Woods block W logo sticker on the chairs, covering up the cheek
Cover
and
the former, yeah.
the former mascot. So, being at the age of the chair, some of them were ripping up and things like that, we felt it was time to replace. Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. That's actually kind of similar with you'll see a purchase of the weight bench pads. That was $3,600. Same sort of deal. The health department come in, they come in often and they, look at all the facilities. The athletic building that's been kind of on the ticket for a while that keeps on getting written up is the torn pads. For a while, you kind of make do with kind of taping them, kind of doing small repairs. We are kind of at the point now to where you've got to get them replaced. I also purchased a wear pad on there too, so it'll help with the overall use of that material.
One thing I didn't see in here is the wrap. What did we decide what we were going to do with the wrapping around the fence? I know that there was some discussion about we got the new fence for the field, but did we get our wrap?
I'm going to be talking about that in the next.
Okay, in the next one. Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that one. I knew I saw it. I'm like, I thought it was on this one. Okay,
It'll
gotcha.
fall in this fiscal year.
Yeah.
Since it's a new year.
Yeah.
It's like I know I saw it somewhere. I'm like, I thought we talked about it. Perfect. Thank you.
That's good.
Okay.
We'll move on to
Thank you.
9.07, facilities update.
All right. Mr. Day, through 9.07 facilities update, if you could just please continue.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, appreciate it. Facility update for today. I made a slideshow just because I wanted to go over some things that are happening at every campus, and some of them kind of just made sense to do pictures of. It's easier to describe. So for the stadium enhancements, we've got our state championship plaques that are going to be installed before the first home game. This is an example of what they look like. These are the actual Winton Woods ones. We also have ones that are just Forest Park. We have some that are just Green Hills. With our community, we've got 11 that were state championships or state runner-ups. So that's what we have decided to go with right now. The Green Hills are mainly, particularly just green and black letter. Forest Park is blue, using those. But they're all going to be on that athletic building stadium side wall, where it'll all be placed. So looking forward to this one. They should be done here in a few weeks, so they should be getting installed here very soon. The windscreen is the next part. So the windscreen is being worked on now. We've got a solid design as far as what we're going to go with. I am going to look into a rush order to see if we can't get it here before the first home game. With the rush order, I don't think the price is going to be too bad to not do it. It is a 9.5 foot high windscreen. So it's going to be a kind of a bear to put up and take down, but it's going to look really, really good when it's on there. It's going to look really, really nice. We do have to have a building permit with this as well, so we're in the process of that as well. They're concerned, not concerned, they want to know what the wind shear numbers is for a windscreen like this and the force of the fence. We don't want the fence to come down with heavy winds that come through. We had to go through the same process with the fence in general. So it's the same sort of deal. Yeah. So being that the wind screen is a larger one that we've had in the past, they're making us go through the building permit process. So right now I'm working with SHP, Allison McKenzie. She's working on those numbers for us to see if we can get those to Forest Park and get that rectified pretty quickly. It's not going to delay me buying it. Let's just say that, because I think it'll be a very quick process to be able to get this done. Baseball field renovation, we're waiting on the engineering drawings for the permitting part. The permit for the scoreboard is imminent. They sent me the final bill today for the scoreboard. Their billing comes in two parts anymore. You start the process with a permit application, you pay some part. Once they get all the information they need and they approve it, you pay the final part, they release the permit. So we're in that second phase right now. They sent it to me at 4 o'clock today. So we're gonna pay that with a check tomorrow. So that should be up and running. The vendor for the baseball field itself, he's working on with the engineering firm to get the drawings engineer stamped. He can start on some field work though and some demolition though before that process gets going. So he's gonna begin that. He's thinking at the end of this week is what he's starting with. They are planning on tilting, on changing the field a little bit, angling a little bit to also help with foul balls and things like that. The fencing itself, it's a pretty large scale. It's pretty common for high schools, but it's a 35-foot high backstop, which is going to be another conversation with the city. Shouldn't be an issue, but I'm going to have to stand before and talk to them about that, just because it's a little over the height that they normally require or permit. But it really is to keep balls from going to the parking lot, going from the stadium, all that. So. The community building right now is getting a whole building camera system installed. It's kind of long overdue. So it's getting a whole inside and exterior camera system installed. We're getting security doors down by the technology center and enrollment wing, just to make it a more of a secure, that area will be almost like a secure little vestibule in itself. So if you're going to enrollment, you can't just go anywhere else. If you're going to the tech center, you can't just go anywhere else where we've got students present and things like that. The other parts of the building, we do have a secure vestibule as well by Project Success. So we're kind of emulating that at the technology center side. The back parking lot, we did have sections repaved here recently in the past couple weeks. We had some areas that were kind of failing, so we went ahead and pulled the trigger on 2 main areas that we got repaved. South Campus, we recently did a Forest Park and Green Hills Police Departments. They did in-house kind of training for themselves. It wasn't for staff. It was basically a real-world scenario training in these new buildings that they protect for us and with us. They also saw how Safe Defend works as well. We had the vendor come in from Safe Defend, and they kind of modeled it for the police because they hadn't seen it. They knew about it. We've talked to them about it, but they hadn't actually seen it live. So that was kind of an eye-opening thing for them and seeing how the system works. Our buildings are not traditional buildings, and the police know that, and they know they need to get in more often just to do these sort of trainings. It's different than just going to a regular traditional type building as far as how you're going to protect everything. So it was very good. It was a 3-day period of time. South Campus, they were very generous with letting them with having the space and the time. We really only had to lock down kind of one area to get all the training done. But they had quite a few officers that came in to take part in that training. Early Childhood Central Campus, we had a relay switch installed here recently, and what that is it's when the power goes out in that building, what it's always done is it's a 3-phase building, which means that it will try to keep itself running, even if the power is going out, which sounds great. Other than when it does that, it tends to burn out motors and it burns out circuit boards and things like that. We had a repair earlier this year that it was truly a repair from this to where it was a $20,000 fix and it was a day out of school for the kids. So we asked them, what can we do? This building is going to do this. This building has always done this. When I was a principal before me, it's always done this. So what can we do about it? Siemens did have a good option. It's a relay switch that will cut off the power. If it feels it losing it, it'll just cut it off. Our backup generator will kick on for the technology and the internet for the district. We figure that's a better option than having to pay repair costs, and they're not getting any cheaper as far as the repair cost. So. Safe Defend is also being installed there this year, which should be a nice added feature for that building. North Campus, we updated the Winton Woods middle school entrance sign. So if you go down, it's the old brown brick sign that used to say Winton Woods High School. Well, it did up until just recently. So we changed that to model it off of the early childhood center sign and South Campus. So it looks just like that. They just got that done the other day. This sidewalk here, I don't know if you've been at North Campus at arrival or dismissal. This is the high school side, but both schools drop off and pick up from this area. And they always do a double stacked line. So each one of these lanes have cars loaded in there. And what was happening was kids were getting out of the car on the right-hand side and just crossing traffic. Kids not always paying attention, cars not always paying attention. That kind of scared a lot of us. This idea was actually from Gary Crawley, from our assistant principal at the high school. He just brought up the problem. Like, we've got this problem, what can we do? We ended up adding another sidewalk down the other side with the hopes that kids are gonna walk down that sidewalk to the crosswalk. We did add a light up crosswalk earlier this year to help boost safety there as well, just because it's a very, very busy area, and it just it worried us, to say the least. So that just got installed last week. Central office renovation, the initial survey has happened outside. You'll see a bunch of stakes that are going on the other side of this building. You should see equipment being mobilized this week. Tentative completion is going to be October. So that should be a nice welcome sight to see this happening. SHP is getting close to solidifying the layout of the interior as well. I'd welcome you if you guys want to take a look at that. I can get that during a work session, things like that, if you guys choose, to see what the design looks like and how they're going. Any questions? I know that was a lot.
I have a question.
Yeah.
At the North Campus, when I'm driving through there, I see a lot of people using that as a cut through from Waycross to get to West Kemper, and they're flying through there.
Yes.
Can we look at speed bumps or something?
I had talked to Scott Falkowski, is the, he's not the city manager, he does like the maintenance department for the city. They added, which you guys probably already know, have seen, those larger speed humps on Waycross. I asked him, like, so what was the vendor? Is that something that we could potentially do there? I think down Central it might be a possibility. That drive is kind of interesting because the property line is exactly the middle of that drive. So half of it's the city's, half of it's ours. It would be a conversation we could definitely have, and I don't mind doing that. The front part of the drive is completely ours, so we could do that there. But those speed humps they slow you down. They do me when I go down Waycross, you know. So that would be an option there, I think.
Yeah, I was at the North Campus, and I was watching them put the other sidewalk in there. I didn't know what was going on, so thank you for that explanation. But I was just sitting there, and I probably saw about 15 cars just flying through there. Yeah. Now, it's summertime, nobody's there, I get it. But in my mind, I'm thinking they're not thinking, oh, it's summertime, no kids are here. They're just, it's a breeze through. So it's quick access to get, past the light, this, that, and the third. So like I said, I don't know. I definitely want to have that conversation with Forest Park and see what we can do. And I'll definitely reach out to Mayor Brown, my good friend over there at Forest Park, and see what we can do about that.
Yeah. Yeah, the only conversation I would have to have with Forest Park is the fact that the property line is what it is. Yeah. I can't imagine them having too much of a problem with it. I haven't had the conversation. They know it's an issue as well. I know the police do. So they're very well aware. The old drive used to go right through by the police station and fire.
Yes.
That made it a little different, I guess. People weren't flying by as much. You weren't, if you know what I mean, you guys all have seen the old building. So with the new building, that did change, and people definitely have taken advantage of that as a cut through, for sure.
I will say during the school year, they do a really good job of blocking it off where you can't get in from Waycross.
They do.
So, they really try to align,
Yeah.
traffic and keep it going one way. So.
Well, and that's all by design. Mr. Martin was huge in that. Mr. Denny was, as far as just getting that circular motion of that entire campus. Because without that, and we actually block off a bunch of the parking lot too to where it really is circular. We don't want people cutting through all the lanes too. We added some things, some poles and some chains that way too.
It seems
to
to
help.
work really well, so I like the addition with the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think it'll help. I'm looking forward to that one. Again, that wasn't my idea. It was Gary Crawley, and it was a good one. It needed to happen.
I do have a question. I guess I'm trying to think where it is. The WW that we have, the landscaping piece, will that be all cleaned up and stuff
Yes.
before being in school?
Yeah.
And then we have I don't know if it's a garage door, it's the white door by the athletic building that needs to be painted. I know that you guys,
I think if you check in a couple more days, it'll be done.
perfect.
Yes.
I see these things and I'm like, I know this is gonna be done before the school, but I just thought
Yeah.
I'd mention it.
Yeah, we're
Great,
seeing
thank
the
you.
same things.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
the scoreboard, the other day it looked like it was out at the stadium. Is it okay? Because it,
We're looking at the service call right now. We found out about that night.
oh, okay.
It just wasn't connecting right, which
Okay.
I
I was
don't
like-
know is totally uncommon for going into the year. There's always something, that's just a little wonky about it till you get it serviced.
We'll fire it up before the first scrimmage
Okay.
traditionally.
Yeah,
And-
and that's when they found out. So they found
they
out
found
at a
out.
soccer scrimmage.
There we go.
Yeah, we were sitting there, you
we
were
were
like,
watching
huh?
it, and we're like,
Yeah,
that just doesn't look right.
yeah.
All those white squares and a couple black ones over there, it
Yeah.
doesn't look right.
Yeah, I was getting the phone calls as you guys were watching that. And then we made the service call the next morning, and so
Okay.
it's being taken care of.
We've come in and it's like red, and
Yeah.
it's not encouraging.
No,
But
not at all.
we've definitely been able to get it back online.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're on top of it,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Great.
We will get there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right,
Thanks
thanks,
for all
Mr.
the
Denny.
updates.
Thanks,
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yeah, no problem.
Next on the agenda is recommendations from the superintendent, 10.01, personnel schedules. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. The board agenda item 10.01 is personnel schedules. The board, there, you should have before you Schedule A, B as in boy, C as in Charlie, D as in David, and E as in Edward. And board, the recommended action would be to approve the personnel schedules as presented.
I would like to make a motion to approve the personnel schedules as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I don't have any discussion other than just to say again, welcome to all of our new staff and excited to see a bunch of new faces.
So the last name is the on Schedule B.
Yes.
That's the change.
Did you
That's,
say B or D?
yes,
Brandon?
B
that
as
was
in
the
boy?
change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Oh,
good.
the correction, yes.
All right, let's go ahead and move to the vote.
Call the roll, please.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passed unanimously. Thank you, board. Moving on to 10.02, resolution approving administrative appointments. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, President Smith. Board, you should have before you for agenda item 10.02. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. This is a resolution to approve administrative appointment. And specifically, this is for an alternative licensure, similar to what we've done with some other administrators when this has become necessary. In this case, it's Mr. Chenault, the middle school assistant principal that we met just earlier this evening. He has this through another district, and it flows from that district to the state. It's necessary to do this in the correct order, because essentially this resolution verifies that he's being considered to be hired by our district. So that is the introduction to it, board. The recommended action would be to approve the resolution as presented, and Ms. Wilson's here to answer any questions you might have. So that's the recommendation.
Thank you. Board, a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommended resolution approving administrative appointment as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been motioned and seconded. Board, is there any discussion?
The only discussion was, and I think it's just the absent members will be removed for,
I told her I
yeah,
would fix
he'd
it.
fix it, but that's it. Yeah, no. Okay, thank you for that.
Mr. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is 10.03, list of students declared impractical to provide pupil transportation. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. Board 10.03 is list of students declared impractical to provide pupil transport. Mr. Day will also approach in case you have any questions or need additional information about this. Last month, you approved or passed a resolution declaring that there might be a necessity to declare some schools impractical, and therefore some students to also, non-public school students to be specific, to be transported as well. So, Board, the recommended action would be to approve the list. You should have that list before you, but to approve the list of students declared impractical to provide pupil transport as presented.
Board, a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the list of students declared impractical to provide pupil transportation as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been motioned and seconded. Board, is there any discussion?
So just for a point of clarification to the public, can you explain what that means? I know we hear it, we understand, but I want to make sure the public understands what that means.
Yeah, so we've got students that will attend other non-public, not our schools, but that live in district. And some of those schools are either outside the range, and on that list, you'll see the reasonings why in the far right column. The two reasons why they would be deemed inappropriate or to transport. So what we do is we also now have to post the student names and family names. I don't feel good about doing that publicly, so that's why it's in the administrative section for you guys to see. We're just following the legal procedures that the state has set down for us to post that way. A lot of these parents would also, it's a payment in lieu of, so instead of us providing the transportation, we would pay them for transporting their own child.
So I know there's a school on the list and there's quite a few students that go to that school. So do we have a threshold? I know it's really expensive. Do we have a threshold number?
Yeah.
Like you have to have 20 students or 15?
Yeah.
I can speak to that, Ms. Bryant. It tends to run in the 13 to 15 student range, but it depends on a wide variety of factors. So to justify a route, sometimes if you don't have the drivers available to do it, that's another consideration.
Absolutely.
We're fortunate right now, knock on something. We're well-staffed right now with drivers, but if they live inside that 30-minute drive window, we're required to transport them unless there's a good reason otherwise. And so for these students, the good reason would be the economics of it.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Any more discussion? Mrs. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Moving on to 10.04, list of school bus stops for fiscal year 2026. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. 10.04, Board, like 10.03, is required by Ohio Revised Code. So this time of year, we would bring the stops before the Board. The stops you should have before you, and the recommended action would be to approve the list of school bus stops for school year 25-26 as presented. And Mr. Day is here to answer any questions or provide additional information should that be needed.
Board, a motion is in order.
I make a motion to approve the list of school bus stops for the 25-26 school year as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is 10.05, Student Code of Conduct. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Board 10.05 is the Wentwood City Schools Student Code of Conduct. It is customary for us to bring this before the board each year for your reapproval, your review, and we request your favorable approval. The recommended action, board, would be to approve the code of conduct as presented. You should have that before you. Just by way of quick information, anything in red was a change, so we wanted to be transparent, allow you to easily see. So Ms. Wilson, thanks for putting that together. But we requested feedback from our administrators. One of the big changes was cell phone policy, but also vaping is the other theme that you'll see. We want to make sure that we're responsive to what is more pervasive now. So cigarette smoking and tobacco use is down unless it's in a vape. So we wanted to make sure that the code of conduct reflected that. So board, again, recommended action would be to approve the code of conduct as presented.
Board, a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the student code of conduct as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I do just want to say really quickly about the student code of conduct, and then next we're going to talk about the student uniform policy. I had the pleasure of talking and visiting with our Forest Park newest cadet group, and they had some very good questions about the code of conduct and the uniform policy and the new cell phone policy. And it was just refreshing to hear that our students are paying attention to some of this stuff, and they're reading it and they're asking questions about it, and they're wanting to get involved with student council and things like that. And so kudos to our Forest Park cadet program and all those who have supported that program. They just graduated, so it went really well. There's some really great young people that I got to meet from talking to them, and so their brains are just working in a way that is really inspiring. There were kids from our district, and just learning police, fire, city government, all public works, all the things about Forest Park and our schools and things, and so doing great things this summer in our community. So it was really inspiring just to see them be involved and ask questions on the government level, and it was just really neat. So kudos to them for paying attention to things like this, and it makes me feel like our work, reviewing it and reading it, and it doesn't always necessarily go in vain. You wonder if these things just sit on somebody's coffee table for midnight reading, but it's nice to know that some of our students are actually paying attention and following things and wanting to know why do we make the decisions we do, and so it was really inspiring.
Anyone else? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the vote. Mr. Seymour?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you, board. Moving on to 10.06, School Uniform Policy 5511.01. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, President Smith. 10.06 board is the uniform policy for Winton City Schools. And again, as is customary, we bring this before the board for your consideration and reapproval around this time of year, typically July. Board, it is governed by policy 5511.01, the school uniform policy. So again, that's updated and color-coded with strike-through and so forth for your reference. There are no recommended changes to the uniform policy for this year. So board, the recommended action would be to request the approval of the uniform school policy, policy 5511.01 as presented.
Board, a motion is in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the school uniform policy, policy 5511.01 as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I will say that I know that uniform policies have become a thing of the past for some districts, so I know that it is important that we have these rules and that students follow them. So thank you for having them, and I know for parents, I've heard from some parents, it's easier to have a uniform because you don't have to worry about what you're wearing every single day, but we do encourage our warriors to adhere to the uniform policy. So, thank you.
Mr. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you, board. Moving on to 10.07, revised 2025-2026 school calendar. Mr. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Board, you should have before you the revised calendar for school year 2025-2026. And the change we were waiting on in order to be able to bring this back to you was the graduation date confirmation from the University of Xavier. And it is May 12th, so you can see that reflected in that attached PDF. We did take the opportunity to make 2 other changes that we thought would be overall an improvement, so I wanted to share those with the board briefly as well. They're 2 changes, they both involve parent-teacher conferences. Specifically at the North Campus, the request came from high school and middle school to try to move those to separate evenings, mostly for parking and space. So you will see that in October, for example, in the section titled Teacher Workdays, the parent-teacher conference for North Campus for middle school is the 21st of October, and for the high school at North Campus, it's the next day, the 22nd. And so that's a minor change, but one that we thought would be helpful to families as well as staff. That same change occurs in January, so we're just moving them to 2 separate nights. So, board, those are the 2 changes, and we would, at this time, just recommend that the board, we would request that you approve the revised 25-26 school calendar as presented.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the revised 2025-2026 school calendar as presented.
I'll second that motion.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, can you call the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you very much, board. Moving on to 10.08, 825 Lake Ridge Sanitary Sewer Easement Agreement. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, President Smith. 10.08 board is the easement requested by the home builder Dries and also required by the Metropolitan Sewer District, MSD, for a development of over 100 homes that's going in Springfield Township. Board, we've had the opportunity to discuss this at a couple different work sessions, and I'm pleased to report that the changes requested by the board to enhance the future saleability, if I can use that word, marketability of the property have been implemented. So, board, if you take a look at the easement agreement itself, the easement plat, which is Exhibit C, shows that change in the legal document. And then the attachment is a lot easier to look at. It shows the 825 Lake Ridge Drive Sanitary Sewer Easement Agreement area, and it's been shifted toward the property line. And one of the things they were able to do, which is good, is move the proposed new manhole access point. So that manhole cover is going to go south, which will allow it to follow the property line parallel. So that green area you see is from the existing manhole cover for that sanitary sewer line to run directly to the new proposed one. And it takes it out of the field of play, removes it really very close to the property line. So, board, that is the update on that, and the recommended action would be to approve the 825 Lake Ridge Sanitary Sewer Easement Agreement as presented.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 825 Lake Ridge Sanitary Sewer Easement Agreement as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. Board, is there any discussion?
No, thank you for the update and all the information and the drawing that makes sense.
Sure.
To read that. Thank you.
On behalf of my man, Bill, Mr. Spillman, thank you.
Yes,
I was
yes.
going to definitely
It's our
say
pleasure.
thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you to those who were working on this. I know that we asked for some compromises, so
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Seeing no more discussion, Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Board, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is a Board of Education reports. 11.01, the legislative report has been attached and sent by our legislative report person, Dr. Johnson, in her absence. Board, you can review that at your time. We'll move right along into 11.02, our Great Oaks report, and that was sent by our representative, former board member Jeff Birdie, and there's nothing to report on that. So once again, we thank Dr. Johnson and Mr. Birdie for their continued support from Mr. Birdie, obviously, because he's a former board member. We appreciate that. And we thank Dr. Johnson for her due diligence in her absence. At this time, we will move on to 12.01, board motions and recommendations. Board, do we have any motions or recommendations this evening? Seeing none, we'll move right into 13.01, comments from members of the board, and we'll start with our wonderful treasurer, Mr. Randy Seymour.
I have none.
You always look so surprised.
I know. I love it. Superintendent Denny, you're up next.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. I guess I'd just start by saying how heartwarming it was this evening to meet our new team members, our new family members. We're just excited that they're joining the Winton Woods Warrior staff team, and there's so many of them bringing so much to the table. It was a bit like a reunion, like you had said earlier, Mr. Smith, and it was just great to see some familiar faces, but also some new faces. So looking forward to that. Very excited about school starting. It's right around the corner. It's hard to believe it's going to be July 31st, this Thursday, but that also means that we're excited about our youngsters coming back and for another year of learning and growth, and our staff returning. And so we're eagerly looking forward to that. And football season is upon us, fall sports, soccer, cheer, the band, all of those things that add so much to what we do here in the district and help make our district a special place. So just excited about those things, and thankful again that we're seeing some of the, hopefully this federal empowerment moving toward a better resolution. We truly, it's $6 billion in funding nationwide. Of course, it affected our district as well, and every district in the country. So we're happy to see movement there, and hopefully it's restored fully. So we'll be watching that closely and monitoring things closely, just like we're monitoring state funding closely. So just ask our public and our staff and everyone involved to pay attention. These are important times, and we're just looking forward to school coming back and getting things going again. So thanks for the opportunity to share some comments.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Ms. Bryant.
Believe it or not, I don't think I have anything else to say other than welcome to our newest members and looking forward to all the great work and looking forward to the sports season beginning and seeing everyone come back, and can't wait to clap everyone in for the new school year. So, yeah, stay safe.
Thank you very much. Vice President Knight.
Just enjoy the rest of your summer. We'll see you at our clap-in rallies on the first day of school. That's always one of my favorite things to be a part of. So I'll definitely be enjoying my last couple days of summer as well, and go Warriors.
Thank you, everybody, for your attendance. Once again, thank you, board members, for being here. Superintendent Denny, Mr. Seymour, thank you very much. Once again, I hope everyone has enjoyed their summer as it is coming to a close, and we're looking forward to a wonderful school year. Warrior Nation is definitely going to be strong this year. We're going to bring home some championships. We're going to bring home let's bring home some white robes. How about that?
Amen.
You know,
Yeah, for
honors.
sure.
Let's bring home some white robes.
Yes.
But once again, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. And so let's move into 1401. I now call this meeting of the Winton Woods City School Board of Education adjourned. Thank you to all in attendance. And of course, we'd like to thank Waycross Community Media, Tony, and your team for broadcasting us on the World Wide Web. Thank you.